But now the conversation for us has changed again because, me and you talk a lot about, the whole concept of this podcast being called $1 Million Days, about our journey to making a significant amount of money, what that looks like. And I want to tell a story, actually. Yeah, I'm going to tell a story, which I've told you a little bit of, and you too, but not our viewers. So you get to tune in for the first time. So I've mentioned this a few times on the podcast, but I sold the car the other day and it was empty, no petrol, zero. Like it had this much left before I handed it over to him. And I went and filled it up with petrol and I gave him a full tank of petrol when he left that day and picked up the car.
So he's taking the car?
He's taken the car.
Was he pumped?
Pumped. Loved it.
What, did you tell him?
Absolutely, I told him. I'm not going to let him get away with not knowing. Absolutely, I told him.
What was his reaction?
He's like, oh, thank you. Yeah, you didn't have to do that. So, mate, my pleasure. My pleasure. So, like thinking about your life in abundance, not in scarcity, all right? If you want more happiness in your life, give more happiness. If you want more wealth in your life, well, give more wealth. If you want more love in your life, give more love. And we were having this conversation the other day and I was like, I'm going to do this not because of like, if I'm being scarce and thinking, oh no, I'm not going to fill that up. It's $150. It's $150. Why am I going to give this to a stranger? You just bought my car and he's negotiated me down, to a price that isn't the price I was trying to sell it for. And now I'm going to give him a full tank of petrol. So no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to give him that. And having that whole shift of mindset in not just that petrol thing, but in everything, right? We lost, I've got to be careful how I say this now. So I, at some stage, I've sued someone for money that they owed me. And it was funny, we were at mediation not long ago. And the whole premise behind it was we either make a deal on that day and we come to an agreed figure that someone pays someone, or we both walk away. And then the consequence of going the whole way would have been over $100,000 for both parties to just see it through to court.
Just in fees?
Just in legal fees, yeah, legal costs. It would have been at least that. And then you're putting it in the hands of a judge. So no matter how strong your case is, you don't know what side of the bed the judge woke up in the morning and who he's going to side with on the day. So there was an element of risk there no matter how strong your case is. And mine was the stronger of the two from what I saw. But I was speaking with my barrister at the time and I said, you know what, over the course of the next 4 or 5 months that this case is going to go on, I'm going to have to spend 120 grand. I'm going to have to invest a lot of time giving you documents, going over all these other things. And I'm going to have to focus on something that's really a negative, bad debt.
Yeah, it's an emotional investment.
That's right. And plus, there's consequences if you lose as well. So I'm looking at that and I was like, you know what, over the next 4 months, not only am I going to make that money, but I'm also going to triple it because I'm going to focus on things that I can actually bring in, the good projects, the good clients, the good deals. Like imagine I spend 120 grand on ads in the next 4 months. How different that's going to be to my life as opposed to spending 120 on a solicitor. And I was speaking to my barrister about that and she's like, you are one of the most practical people I've ever come across actually. She goes, I do a lot of these cases and not many people have that mindset to you. Anyway, long story short, we ended up coming to an agreed movement where we just both walk away bearing our costs. That's it. Right. So not my desired result, but in the grand scheme of things, I actually felt quite good about it. And do you know what happened? So this went on all day. So I was there from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The second I walked out of that building in the city, do you know what happened? I had a phone call from a client who I priced a job for 3 months ago. A missed call because he called me whilst I was in there. Looked at my phone, that's interesting. Gave him a call back. Said, g'day mate, how you going? He's like, oh, George, thanks for calling me back. He goes, look, I know I've been taking a while. I've been sitting on it. I've really wanted to make this thing work and great news. We've got the money. We want to go ahead. We want you to build it. And this is a significant project. Like this will be one of my highest grossing projects. All right. And me just having that whole abundance mindset, I believe was the reason that call came through. It's like you almost manifested it. And it was such a fist pump moment for me. Going, you know what? I can't believe everything I've been practicing and talking about is coming to fruition. And that was really amazing when I saw that happen. But then I take it a step further. That's just in the money aspect. We have a lot of conversations lately about doing things now that in your life that are going to be amazing, and going, whether it's holidays, whether it's experiences, whether it's doing things with the kids, the way we act with the kids when we're home, all these sorts of things, so it can translate into a bigger, better, greater version of ourselves. And I see that that's our next evolution in our life and our relationship. Is we're at that point now where I think we're quite mature, in the sense of, like, we're still, when I say mature, I think we've done the reps, as we like to say. We've done the reps in in our relationship, and we've gone through really good times, we've gone through really hard times. Like I've openly said, like, COVID was the worst time in my life, from a business point of view, but then it was also really bad for us in relationship point of view. Not to the sense that we were doing anything intentionally detrimental. Like, I wasn't coming home going, I'm going to show this bitch up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It wasn't anything like that. And it wasn't like I'm going to walk in the door and she's like, when he's home, he's fucked. Like, I'm going to throw the pot at him. You know what I mean? It was never anything.
Is that you?
That was
Weapon of choice.
Go
ahead.
Someone's got to cook.
Yeah.
It's not fucking me, is it?
Give me, what did you say in the other episode?
I don't know.
Do I look like I belong in a kitchen?
Oh, I'd never said that, but I would never say that. Let the record state.
Of course not.
Never said that.
Voice.
Current affair. You have our number.
Yeah. You know,
So, yeah, and it was never intentional that we were going to do that. But the way, I get the situation. I know.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Oh, the situation was extreme, but why the fuck wasn't I better? Why not? Why did I have to let that situation make me a worse person? A shittier husband, a shittier father, a shitty business owner?
you got to look at it like this. Okay. Progression happens over a time span. Like, if you were the same person you are today, then that would mean that you haven't grown from then till now.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other way around. Do you know what I mean? But you're always you should look back. You know, I think I mentioned this on the last thing. You should always look back and say, like, I thought I knew shit back then, but that guy was an idiot. You know?
Yeah.
But at the point, you did know stuff, but you've just continued to grow over time. And COVID was tough for everyone except me.
Except for you loved it?
Dude, I had, if anyone, I lived with two mates. I lived with my cousin and my friend. And we all had time off work. And we all had
Were you
a
working
PlayStation.
at the dealership then?
Working at real estate. We all had a PlayStation. And we all went and bought Call of Duty from Harvey Norman in Maribyrnong. And every single night we would get on and play Warzone. And everyone would sit in their rooms with the headsets on, and we'd jump on Warzone's trios, and we would just play for 8 hours every single night, dude. It
And
was
get paid for it.
and I was getting paid. It was sick.
Yeah.
It was so good for me, man.
Our brother-in-law, so my sister, so Nicole's sister's husband, similar scenario, except he just sat at home and drank and smoked cigars, not weed or anything, but he just sat at home. He goes, that was a great time for me. He goes, I was getting paid, right? He goes, I actually made more money because he used to, like, they would all often go out, have lots of dinners,
there's no costs.
spending.
Yeah.
So he goes, I was actually saving money and I was getting paid and I wasn't working. And he had his own business too, but he was just heavily subsidized by the government. Whereas for us, we copped the short end of the straw. Like, our business went from millions to almost zero. And so I had that pressure to deal with. Then I came home and indirectly took it out on the family. And I don't say I did it purposefully, but I'd come home and I'd just be so drained, so tired, so not there emotionally, physically. I'd be on the couch, be watching TV, the kids would be playing. And instead of me playing with them, I was like, guys, be quiet. Do you know what I mean? Like a
It's a
dick.
bit of a drainer.
Yeah. But then in the same token, but then that's where you build that resentment too. Because Nicole would be resentful to me going, look at this dickhead.
Yeah,
you know,
he's
I've been stuck.
not
Yeah,
in the mood, yeah.
I've been stuck in these
And he got
walls
to go to work.
all day.
Yeah, he got to leave and go to work, and he comes
Oh,
home.
homeschooling. She would even think about that, yeah? And then I'd come home, oh, look at this, fucking stay home all day. Oh, homeschooling, I wish I could have that. I just got reamed for $80,000 today. What did you do? Do you know what I mean? Or whatever it might be. But there was that resentment both ways. And there's the lack of communication. There's that lack of connection. There's that lack of so many things that weren't going right that accumulated and then put significant pressure on the relationship, I was in the worst shape of my life then as well. Wasn't looking after myself, was eating shit, unhealthy person, mind, spirit, body, in all aspects of my life. But you're completely right. If I was still that person today, you're a piece of shit. I know, look guys, make no mistake. Another COVID is coming. It's going to come. It might not be in the form of a global pandemic, but it will be another GFC of some sort. Now, I'm not saying it's coming next year. It'll probably be in 10 years' time. 2030. Lock it in.
Might be.
You heard it here first.
I'd be told to play Call of Duty then.
Yeah, might be. Well, you won't be getting paid by the government at that stage. You'll be your own business.
Could be universal basic income.
But the point I'm making is I realized that I wasn't the best version of myself during that time. And that's partly the reason why I joined groups and people where I could become better. And that's where we met. And that's how we became friends. I was a business course that we were doing, and that led onto one thing, led onto another. And then I was just surrounding myself by good people, which in turn turned me into a good person as well. Or just helped me see things where I was lacking in my life, And then that was a really powerful thing for me. And then I was able to come home, be that better version of myself, which then came onto the kids, which then came onto Nicole. And now we're both growing in that direction. But yeah, what I was saying is another GFC will happen again. The difference will be next time it happens is I'm not going to be reactive. I'm going to be proactive. I'm like, cool, Nicole, come here. This is what we have to do now. Cool, we're locked in our house for the next 6 weeks. This is what we're going to do. Every week, we're going to do this. Every day, every night, every this. I'm going to tell you every second. If you're upset about something, let's talk about it. These are my jobs. These are my clients. Cool, these clients, I'm going to tell them we're stopping the jobs unless you pay $1,000 a day in damages, whatever it is, because we can't continue. Employees, you're fired. Sorry, hope to get you back when things are better. Yeah, honestly, I promise you, I will fire every fucking person at this company. Not because I hate you, because if the ship goes down, everyone sinks. Everyone sinks. And that's what nearly happened because I did everything possible to look after everything and everyone at my detriment. The business, my mental and physical health. All right. And spiritual health.
That's just, you got to look at that. That's the price you paid for the lesson.
It was the price I paid. Now, I will never be willing to pay that price again. Never.
Well, you'd be silly to pay the same thing for the same thing.
Yeah, like exactly. And I look at people such as, I'll use Grant Cardone. We mentioned him a little bit in this podcast. GC. Next time you're in Melbourne, see you soon. Get your special guest on the podcast. But he, in 2008, he was in a very similar position. He was being sued by someone for millions of dollars. He nearly lost his whole business. And he goes, everything I look back at that time in my life, he goes, I wasn't prepared for it. So then when the next thing happened, which was COVID after GFC, he goes, he was completely prepared. He went in and fired 200 people in his business. He went and got rid of whole sections of his organization. He grabbed his family. He bought a penthouse on the top floor of a building. He goes, we lived there on beach views, made sure I was away from everything and everyone. Didn't do this. And then he went and he became a billionaire during COVID because he bought so much property because everyone was selling. And he's like, cool, I'll take that.
Yeah, he understood the game.
He understood the game. And I'd like to feel that I understand the game now.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about business. I'm talking from business and life. I understand it a lot better. I feel like I have a lot more clarity in that space.
And so you should. And hopefully, in 5 years' time, you look back at now and say, man, I wish I knew what I knew now then.
Yeah.
Because that means you keep growing, right?
Yeah.
That thing Jimmy Carr says, I think I shared it last time, is you should feel imposter syndrome every 18 months. That means you're growing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You should feel like you don't belong because now that means you've moved forward. Otherwise, if you get comfortable with where you are, it just means you're doing the same shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click just over here. Or if you want to watch the full episode, you can click over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and thanks for watching.